Hello, hello, and happy Monday evening to all. This is Carla Thornton McLean. I'm actually jumping on this week, for my son. I'm actually the co-host. He is actually the host of his YouTube channel, the Thornton's Last Ride, but I'm jumping on today to actually do a video. We actually have a lot going on. New addition to our family. A shout out to Desi. I love you, baby. Uh, New addition to the family. So everybody's been, like I said, pretty busy, but I wanted to jump on today anyway and actually talk about a topic. And I'm going to share a video real quick, not a video bit me, but a post in regards to one of the hosts, Adrian Thornton Senior's critical thinking, and I'll actually be talking about that topic and sharing with you all today, and also going over a couple of tips with you all. And then, if you actually want to view more of the tips and share it later, where you all can actually reach out to me to get those additional tips. Okay, bear with me and let me share real quick. Okay, and I hope you all can see that and what I'm actually sharing. This is what I'm going to be talking about today in regards to, like I said, the host, Adrian Thornton Sr.'s critical thinking. The topic today, we're going to be talking about um, actually how to deal with toxic people. But the critical thinking, the quote is people will act like you're hard to deal with because you're not easy to fool. And it looks like someone actually got their letters changed around on there. I just actually called that. But anyway, it says people act like you're hard to deal with because you're not easy to fool. Um, I'm going to actually stop sharing that real quick because I want, like I said, I want to talk about, in other words, those uh, type of individuals, if you will. In other words, insulting your intelligence, trying to use reverse psychology on you to make you think that the issue is actually not with them. The issue is actually with you. And that's because they're acting like the quote said, you're hard to deal with. In other words, trying to make it look like it's you because you're not easy to fool. Okay, so bear with me real quick, you guys, and we're going to start talking about that. Let's see. Gotta get some information that I need. All right. Okay. All right. Ready to go. So in other words, is those type of people that we're talking about that's making it feel like that you are the issue when it's really definitely not you is some awesome tips and how to handle toxic people. So in other words, how to handle and deal with toxic people. Okay. So we're talking about some practical and empowering tips for handling toxic people. Okay. In other words, is let's talk about that just a little bit. In other words, because I'm quite sure everybody has that definition of to themselves or what they feel like that are toxic people. And I'm talking about whether it's friends, sometimes it can be friends, sometimes it can be even loved ones, co-workers, peers, sometimes even what they call maybe a business partner. But in other words, is um, it's these people when you're around them most of the time you're going to be feel drained or very exhausted even during the engagement or maybe even before they or you see them coming or even after you actually um, have been in a conversation with them. Okay. um, and like I said, we all have those. I know a lot of us don't want to admit that or probably breaks your heart to even feel that way or even actually tell somebody. But in other words, if you're not creating that awareness for yourself, then once again, that toxic individual will continue draining you and sucking life out of you if you're not creating that awareness for yourself. Okay. So, what can we actually do? And most of us probably know those toxic individuals, whether it be a loved one, whether it be a friend, a coworker, a business partner, we actually pretty much know who they are. So want to give you some, like I said, some tips on actually how to deal with them. I'll give you a couple of tips, and then I'll let you know, like I said, where you actually can go or reach out to me to get the information to go get the rest of the tips. Okay. Um, the first tip is you want to set clear boundaries. Okay. Establish firm limits on what behavior you will tolerate. Okay. Make it clear when someone has crossed the line, and don't be afraid to walk away if they don't respect your boundaries. Once again, you're going to be able to tell if you're dealing with a toxic person because most of the time they're probably not going to be comfortable when you're establishing or setting those clear boundaries with them, okay? Or when they've crossed the line and you, in a very, how you say, firm, uh, and respectful way, letting them know, okay, you've crossed the line, okay? And being able to walk away if they don't respect your boundaries, and you have a right to do that, okay? So that first tip is set clear boundaries. The second one is stay calm and composed. And believe me, I know all too well about how hard that can be, okay? Um, those toxic people thrive on provoking reactions. And actually, whether you know it or not, they might not even be aware of it, but they actually thrive on provoking reactions, like actually getting you, how you say, come unglued, if you will, or going to the left, or getting upset, or causing you to be in a peaceful mindset and changing that peaceful mindset out of a positive into a negative mindset. Okay. So make sure you're staying calm and composed because, like I said, toxic people thrive on provoking reactions. Stay calm, avoid engaging in their drama, and maintain control over your emotions. Respond, don't react. Read that one again. Stay calm, avoid engaging in their drama, and maintain control over your emotions. So respond, but don't react. Number 3 tip, limit engagement. Reduce your exposure to those toxic individuals, okay? If possible, minimize contact and avoid spending time with them unless necessary. Now, I know for number 3, limit engagement sometimes can be hard. It probably depends on where you're running across this individual. In other words, where you come across this toxic individual. And what I'm saying, it could be difficult because you might be dealing with that particular toxic person might actually be at work or something. And if you're to your desk or something to yourself, it actually might be okay. But once again, if you're maybe in a group setting or how you're arranged at work or even in meetings with someone, that actually might be kind of difficult. But at all possible, minimize that contact and avoid spending time with them unless, like I said, necessary. And then when it comes to actually can be very challenging as well. Could be maybe loved ones. In other words, could be a loved one that maybe is an adult, is the toxic person. So your children could be innocent, meaning your children could be your grandbabies. It actually could be your cousins, nieces, nephews. In other words, it could be someone very, very important to you. Even like I said, even if it's that grown up, that loved one that is toxic, but you still have to make sure you minimize that contact and avoid spending time with them unless necessary. And the reason why I say that, because I know all too well and definitely relate to that when it has something to do with if it's a toxic person who's a grown up. But then it means when you're limited to that time, you're not actually being able to spend time maybe with their children or the younger generation. Okay. The only thing I would say and suggest with that, if you're able to minimize that contact and maybe reach out to the grown up, that maybe that person, the grown up is maybe that toxic person, and minimize that contact, but maybe just reaching out once a week, every 2 weeks, or whenever, however often that you can actually, I wouldn't say tolerate the innocent ones, if you will, but that adult, maybe toxic person, and maybe just reach out to see if you can actually get permission and be able to spend time with the younger ones, the younger children, if it happens to be some innocent children involved in that. Okay. Um, Number 4 tip, don't take it personal. Toxic behavior is usually more about them than you. So in other words, this once again, I can relate to that where sometimes, and I have had a video not too long ago, was close to this subject of lost sleep over me not being who I am at my core. And once again, not staying calm and not being myself or how I wanted to react. But then, like I said, it's more about them. It's not about you, but it could make you start doubting yourself or feel or react a certain way. So remember what it was saying in number 2 tip. That's why it says stay calm and composed, respond and don't react. Okay. And I know that's easier said than done. So just try to have a mental note. Remember that, put a mental note when you're actually dealing with that toxic person. So recognize that their actions stem from their own insecurities and try not to internalize their negativity. And I know that's hard to do, like I said, because when you're engaging with these individuals, I know that can be hard. In other words, to not internalize their negativity. But remember, it's about them. It's not about you. It's, in other words, it's their actions and the way they're acting has something to do with their insecurities. Doesn't have anything to do with you. Okay. Number 5, focus on solutions, not arguments. Something I had to do, like I said, just a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I went into a prayer about it because I was just at my wits' ends of what do I do? You know, I actually need some help. I want a solution or some solutions, but positive. And like you said, focus on solution, not arguments. Not necessarily what say me necessarily was dealing with a particular person wasn't actually an argument, but it was trying to give constructive criticism. But sometimes, once again, when you're trying to help someone, in other words, that's all you actually can do. And it's up to them to take that constructive criticism or that advice you give to them and then for them to implement it in their life. Okay. Um, So focus on solutions, not arguments. When confronted with a toxic person, shift the conversation towards solutions rather than getting caught up in complaints or arguments. Toxic people often resist solutions, but it helps keep the discussion grounded. And I can tell you about that too. When it says resist solutions, that's when they're not holding themselves accountable. I'm just talking about from my personal experience. You feel like you're dealing with toxic people. It's like they always have an excuse for everything. They never hold themselves accountable. So that means they're resisting that solution. But that's all you can do is, how you say, to try to focus on solutions rather than getting caught up in complaints or arguments. Okay. And that also helps keep the discussion grounded. Okay. I actually do have 5 more, like 10 more. But if you actually are interested in wanting to know the rest of the tips or more tips about dealing with toxic people. And like I said, these toxic people, it can actually hurt. And I'm talking about hurt you because it could be a loved one, or a loved one that's a grown up, like I said, but actually have younger individuals that also are your loved ones. And you feel like, okay, but if I stop completely giving, I'll give up, throw my hands up, like I'm done and give up on that toxic individual that's also maybe a parent or something to uh, those children that who might be your nieces, nephews, like I said, might be your grandchildren, but still some younger, innocent ones. It can actually be hard to just throw your hands up and say, I'm done and I give up. So if you feel like you're an individual or can relate to dealing with a toxic person or maybe even toxic people and are at your wits' ends and like, okay, I don't know what to do. I actually need some help. I would actually like some help or even actually like some tips, if you will. This video definitely would, I just went over 5 with you, but I do actually have 10. Feel free to actually reach out to me. You can actually reach out to me here on my on the hostess, my son's channel here on Thornton's actually last ride. But once again, or you can actually send a comment and myself or my son would definitely respond and be able to. But if you want the rest of those tips, you definitely can feel free to reach out to me if you need to reach out to the host as well and tell him, get the information for me or whatever. I can definitely get that information to you. Okay. And I hope everyone's having a A blessed and marvelous Monday, and hope you had one. Hope you're having a good evening. Take care of yourself, and we will be actually seeing you sometime next week, okay, with our next video, okay? So we'll take care. If you do like this video and you would like to hear more about how you say the critical thinking topics that we're going to be discussing, go on and hit like and subscribe to this channel. That way you actually won't be missing any. Have a wonderful evening. Bye for now.